Garrett Blevins here, and I'm here to talk about the next run of the Blevins, Campbell, and now Ben Rice guided programming experience. For those of you who are not familiar, Brandon Campbell and myself ran a 20-week program. We're actually still right at the end of that in the last training cycle with a group of just over 100 people. We've seen some really good results, but in the process of searching for an optimal program, we've noticed that there are a few areas that we could improve upon. And so I'm going to talk about those today. First off, I want to talk about, though, what is it? What is the Blevins Campbell Rice experience? Well, what it is it's a guided program, which means we're going to create programming for you and send it to you. And then we're going to assist you as you go through that programming through forum and Facebook. And so pretty much what you can do is you can ask questions. You can even post videos for form review or for what we're going to call RPE review, which is going to be important for this next program. The reason why is it is an auto-regulated daily undulating periodization program. Now what this means, daily undulating periodization, or DUP, simply means that you're using different rep ranges for different exercises within a single week. So unlike linear periodization, where you might be doing sets of 10 for squat, bench, and deadlift all week, this program is going to have a range of reps that you work in each training block. And the ranges are going to be chosen, the rep ranges, based on what adaptations we're looking for in that particular block. So if you're unfamiliar with what we did before, Brandon Campbell has another video up where I go more in depth to some of the specific training principles that this program is based upon. Now, while we're not going to have as much AMRAPs, or maybe any AMRAPs for some of the clients in this next run of the program, there are going to be some differences. One of those differences is the inclusion of volume control through fatigue deaths. And I'm going to talk about that more later in this video. Now, this program is going to run for a 20-week period. If you're looking for something that's shorter or longer than that, you may want to just email me. But in general, this is for a group of people that want to go for 20 weeks. And that will be broken up into 4 blocks of 5 weeks. Now, the original program worked off of a principle called AMRAPs. It's actually APRE, Auto-Regulated Progressive Resistance Exercise. And pretty much what this means is that after your work sets, your initial work sets with whatever it would be for the day, squats, bench, or deadlift, you would do an AMRAP set at the end. And based off of your AMRAP performance, that would determine what weights you would use in the next week. This works really well for novice, early intermediates, and even late intermediates. But once you start moving up late intermediate to advanced, you can start to run into some volume issues with AMRAP training. And so as I looked at some of the clients who were struggling with that and dealing with the volume as it was for their programs, I decided I need to look into some more principles that will make it an optimal training program for everybody. Now, this requires something. You'll notice that it is auto-regulated. It's auto-regulated because in the program that's going to be coming out, RPE and fatigue are going to be 2 really important principles. Fatigue was not currently part of the program. We didn't really track that, and it didn't adjust volume. In the new program, you're going to have fatigue that determines your volume for each week within those 5-week training blocks. And depending on which week it is within the training block, there's going to be a specific amount of fatigue that you will incur. However, this requires that you be somewhat familiar with RPE. So for those clients who have been working on the program already, you're very familiar with RPE, you've been using it the entire time, and you're going to be good at rating RPE for your initial set. But for people that are coming in that haven't done RPE training before, we can put you on an AMRAP program for 5 weeks. That's going to help you get used to RPE and learn what an RPE 9 feels like, which is going to allow you to come in with the rest of the group and really enter into a fully auto-regulated program. Now, what makes it fully auto-regulated is that the volume is variable. What this means is the more fatigue that we want you to incur on a particular week, the bigger the difference from your initial set to your drop set is going to be, and the more sets you're going to have to do with that lighter weight. Here's an example. Let's say you had a low fatigue week, so you were maybe doing a set of 6 at RPE 8 for squats, and let's say you ended up doing 250 pounds for a set of 6 at RPE 8. When you got up to 250 for 6, that's your RPE. Now, if it was a low fatigue week, we might have a small load drop. Maybe this weight would only go down to 245 by 6, and you would do that weight, which is lower, until it felt like an RPE 8. You might only have to do this for 1 set. I mean, it's only 5 pounds less. I assume that if somebody did that for 6 reps, that if they dropped a little weight, it would feel about the same. That would be a low fatigue week. Now compare that with a high fatigue week. You could still start with the same protocol, 6 reps at an RPE 8, but you would lower the weight to, let's say, 220. Now you're going to have to do more than 1 set with 220 for sets of 6 to get to the same RPE. So you're going to incur more fatigue on this day because you're going to have to tire yourself more to make a lighter weight the same RPE as the heavier weight. So maybe you need to do 4 sets that day with 220. When you learn how to rate RPE, you can start to focus on fatigue rather than just some set amount of volume. In the questionnaire, it will ask you what your average weekly volume is for the squat, bench, and deadlift. But with this program, it's really kind of irrelevant because depending on the week you have, you may be coming off colds, you may be coming off an injury, you might have finals, you might have broken up with your girlfriend or boyfriend the week earlier. You may have a lot of stress going on in your life that can affect recovery, and you just may not be able to hit the same number of sets that you would on any other week. One of the limitations with the original program is that you always had the same number of sets. So one of the things that we did was as you approached your AMRAP sets, if your RPE was already pretty high with your work sets, you would just cut the AMRAP out. But that makes it difficult to track progression, and it also has some subjective data that isn't captured there. However, different numbers of sets with different fatigue brackets is going to help you know what training volume to use. So that's the first big difference. The second difference with this new auto-regulated program is that there's more exercise variations. Currently the program, depending on where your sticking points are with the squat, bench, and deadlift, it would give you certain assistance exercises. That's good. This next program has even more specific assistance exercises built in and more variations. And so I was trying to do the math, I think it is 16 times more variable, therefore 16 times more precise than the original program, which already had a lot of individualization built into it. Additionally, when you put in, let's say you're doing 250 at 8, we'll use that example again on squats, that is going to be calculated into a 1 rep max every single time. Every initial set that you do with a barbell movement will give you an estimated 1 rep max. So instead of just kind of guessing that you're making progress or seeing that your reps are increasing or that your weight is increasing with various rep ranges, you're actually going to be able to track estimated 1 rep maxes. This is helpful because as you start leading into a peak, it lets you know what total is reasonable for you to expect because you've seen maybe 15 weeks of estimated 1 rep maxes. And you can track that trend of if that max is, going around a certain number, maybe you're good at sets of 10 and bad at sets of 5. So that estimated 1 rep max is going to be higher or lower. But you're going to get a really good idea of what to shoot for when you get to the end of the training cycle, even though you're not testing. It allows you to build for a longer period of time without testing your strength. Because whenever you test your strength, you're no longer building it. So that's something that's new in this program as well, that estimated 1 rep max. Now, to get that estimated 1 rep max, it's using a basic RPE chart. And a basic RPE chart is going to look something like this. You're going to have RPE 10, 9, 8, 7, and so on. And you're going to have various rep ranges. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And you're going to have various percentages. Obviously, if you're doing an RPE 10 for 1 rep, that would be 100% of your 1 rep max. Normally you can do 2 reps with about 95%, and you can do 3 reps with about 92%. So 100, 95, 92 for RPE 10 in these rep ranges. Now, what this is going to allow you to do, this program, is you can actually go in and create a number called RRA, rep range ability. Now what rep range ability allows you to do is everybody is better at certain rep ranges. Usually people with more type 2 muscle fiber are going to be better in the lower rep ranges, whereas people with more type 1 muscle fiber are going to be better with higher rep ranges. This is because those different fiber types just respond differently to training stimulus. However, you can actually tailor your personalized RPE chart to what you're good at. Now that's going to take a period of time to do, but what you do, and there will be another video on this for people that join in the program that goes more in depth, is you can adjust what the percentages are in various rep ranges so that you can start to slide where you're proficient or not. That's going to mean that your estimated 1 rep maxes throughout your training are going to be more accurate and more useful in determining what reps or what weights to use when you move into a competition. So lastly, I want to talk about price with everybody. So as you can see, it's $14 a week. That's going to be done in 4 blocks of training. So it'll be $70 paid 4 times. Normally guided programming is going to cost you somewhere in the $25 to $30 range per week. So it's a very good value. Now what are you getting for that? You're getting access to a forum. You have access to form review, and we ask that clients only post 1 video per week for that. And you're also going to have access to a section where if you're new to RPE, you can post that initial set and that last set, which is one of the back-off sets, and ask, what RPE do you guys think that was at? Usually by watching video, we can tell you what RPE your lift was at with pretty good certainty. That's going to help you learn if you're new to RPE. Now, you're also going to get access to a Facebook group. This is helpful because it keeps you accountable. You can post your videos, but you can also see how other people are feeling. And when training gets tough, when there are those weeks where you're incurring a lot of fatigue and we're all doing that together, we have the same feels, and it's good to be with people who have the same feels as you. It can help you get through it because you don't feel like you're doing it alone. You're doing it with a group of people. This has been something that's been helpful with the current group, and I hope is one of the reasons that a lot of people are going to come back. I know it's been helpful for me. Some of you don't know, but I strained my back a little bit in this last training cycle, and it's been very encouraging to have people alongside me and with me working through the program and working around some of the same issues. And I'm happy to say that I'm back on the gains and things are going well. But it's definitely good to have people working with you. So, if you're interested in signing up for the program, look in the link in the description below. It'll take you to my website. On that page, you're going to see the link to the questionnaire. And if you're an existing client who's run the program before, I still want you to fill that out with the most updated and recent information. And if you're new, just go through the questionnaire. It's going to have some basic questions. You may have to calculate volume. That's just the amount of sets times the number of reps times the weights that you used for any particular exercise. And you fill out some basic information beyond that, and we'll be off to the races. You'll also see that there's a section on there where you can sign up for the subscription, and that's going to pull money out of a PayPal account every 5 weeks automatically, and you can cancel anytime. You may see a referral box there. If any of the existing clients have talked to you and you want to say that you were referred by them, put their full name in there. If you were referred by Brandon Campbell or by Ben Rice, put their name in there. Or if you're coming from my channel, put my name in. In any case, I hope that you're ready to get some training and make some gains. Blessings.